This one should be, if I'm being honest with you, this one should be a proper Wicked episode where I come up with a plan of what to do and yada, yada, yada. I'll be real, though. I just stopped about halfway through what I was doing for this because I was getting it ready for the later show. I just don't know. I'll take advice on this because I'll take advice on everything, but Donald Trump's kids are the ones causing trouble in this next story. And I genuinely do not know if it is even the judge's place to shut him up. So they got to be shut up. We've got to stop them from threatening law enforcement, certainly. And by the way, we should go grab the insufferable people who have thin blue line shirts on and badges and say, okay, you believe that. But I honestly don't know where to direct people because the situation is this. Donald Trump's kids are threatening the judge's family in the case that Donald Trump just got arraigned for. Here's Knock 'em Out Pete talking about it. Probably was a little too quick taking those off. Here's Knock 'em Out Pete talking about it.
I'm Ben Meiselas from the Midas Touch Network. As Donald Trump was being criminally arraigned in Manhattan court, and at essentially the exact same time as the judge was admonishing him about his posts where he's threatening people, threatening the district attorney, and threatening the judge, Don Jr., Eric Trump, and Marjorie Taylor Greene were threatening Judge Juan Merchan, the judge who presides over Donald Trump's criminal case. They were threatening Judge Juan Merchan's daughter. That's right, you heard me, threatening Judge Juan Merchan's daughter. Now, their tactic, their stochastic terroristic tactic, is to attack family members of people that they target. And so, for example, with Special Counsel Jack Smith, they've attacked Special Counsel Jack Smith's wife. When it comes to Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, they've attacked Alvin Bragg's wife. They put her name out publicly. I'm not going to show those posts where they put her name, but they put Alvin Bragg's wife's name out there publicly, knowing their cult followers on the cult social media platform will terrorize these individuals and threaten them. That's the point. And as Judge Juan Merchan, at the exact moment, was admonishing Donald Trump about his posts threatening people, you had Eric Trump, Don Jr., Marjorie Taylor Greene posting photographs of Judge Juan Merchan's daughter. We are going to completely redact the photos and any reference to Judge Juan Merchan's daughter's name, but I do want to show you these posts. Before showing you these posts, though, I want to show you the inside account from a reporter at CNN who talked about the judge admonishment about these threatening posts being made by Donald Trump. Play the clip.
And to Trump, the judge said that he was not going to impose any kind of gag order. He said he wouldn't even if he was asked right now, but he did warn the former president and also the prosecutors to warn their witnesses to tamp down their rhetoric, to reduce what they were saying about the case. And the judge warned both sides, but particularly speaking to former President Trump, not to make any statements that would incite any violence or threats against any officials.
So you see there, as I expected, there was no gag order that was issued, but what the judge basically was saying is that for now, no gag order, but I'm warning you about making future posts like this. And as the judge was saying this, here is a post from Donald Trump Jr. He posts a photograph of Judge Juan Merchan's daughter and says, "Seems relevant, yet another connection in this hand-picked Democrat show trial. The BS never ends, folks. Daughter of judge on Trump case worked on Biden-Harris campaign," and it is a photo of the judge's daughter. As George Conaway says, Don Jr., like his father, is scum. And I could not agree more. And look, it's all coordinated. Here is Marjorie Taylor Greene. And Marjorie Taylor Greene says, you can't even make up how corrupt this witch hunt is. And it is a post of Judge Juan Merchan and Judge Juan Merchan's daughter. We are going to redact that. And Eric Trump also posts, daughter of judge overseeing Trump's case, worked for Kamala Harris campaign, now serves as president of company that has Biden-Harris campaign as client. And it is a...
Good Lord. I thought they got to that just a wee bit earlier. All right, so we cannot... Let's just start with the obvious. We can't have a judge's family being threatened. Can't have it. On the other hand, that judge in particular doesn't have authority over the whole country. That judge has authority over the people in their court. So that judge can't say, to my knowledge, and by the way, if I'm wrong, please tell me, because I've trying to find out this fact has been a B and a half. But to my knowledge, that judge can't say, gag order, Marjorie Taylor Greene, gag order, Donald Trump Jr.'s kids. These aren't Donald Trump. Excuse me, Donald Trump's kids. Because these people aren't Donald Trump. Also, I don't want to live in a country where you can't say anything bad about a judge, particularly if you think they're corrupt. But I definitely don't want to live in a country where you can just threaten judges. That's effed up, man. So, we are going to have to do something in the long term, structurally, to take care of this. We're going to have to advocate for, if there aren't rules already, rule changes, for God's sake. That said, there's no way this doesn't bite Trump in the butt. There's no way. Does this, I mean, this is the judge's daughter we are talking about. I can't fathom that the judge is going to let it go, and they shouldn't.
Photo of judge.
Let's let Knock Him Out Pete keep going. I'm sure he's going to bring it home.
Juan Merchan's daughter. And this is what Donald Trump had previously posted, the threat about Judge Juan Merchan. Trump wrote, the judge, quote, assigned to my witch hunt case, a case that has never been charged before, hates me. His name is Juan Manuel Merchan, was handpicked by Bragg and the prosecutors, and is the same person who, quote, railroaded my 75-year-old former CFO Alan Weisselberg to take a plea deal, plead guilty, even if you are not 90 days, 90 days, fight us in court, 10 years life in jail. He strong-armed Alan, which a judge is not allowed to do, and treated my companies, which did not plead viciously, appealing. So what he's referring to, though, Judge Juan Merchan was the judge who presided over the case, the felony case against the Trump Organization, where the Trump Organization and the Trump Payroll Organization was convicted on 17 felony counts for their tax schemes that they were involved in. The jury absolutely hated the Trump Organization, hated the lawyers for the Trump Organization, hated the lying witnesses for the Trump Organization, and it was a jury that very quickly, in 9 hours, found the Trump Organization guilty on all 17 felony counts. By the way, Alan Weisselberg entering into the plea deal was probably the best thing Weisselberg could have done at that moment, because if he went on trial like the Trump Organization, he would have lost, and he would have been sentenced for far longer than he ultimately was in Rikers Island, where he is still at now.
For the record, I don't think Rikers Island should even be in existence based on what I have seen of that particular jail. But if somebody's got to be there, let it be Donald Trump's henchman or Donald Trump himself. I'm just that petty.
And as Donald Trump continues to make these threats, people in his orbit justify it, and it is absolutely disgusting here. This was outside the courtroom. So after Donald Trump's arraignment, these are his lawyers, and here's Joe Tacopino, who's made an absolute fool of himself, as all Donald Trump's lawyers have.
Before we get to this, I'm going to just do a little admission to you. The first time I saw Joe Tacopina on television, I thought, oh, this guy is going to be effective. Because his attitude was such that I was like, oh yeah, he's going to. And then he got about 2 sentences in, and I was like, oh no, never mind. He's just a young Giuliani. Great. I don't know what happens with Tacopina, but it's like he's finding out how corrupt Trump is as he's being asked questions about Trump. It's like he didn't bother to check who his client is. It's wild.
Basically denying and gaslighting the public about what took place. And Tacopina, is saying here, trying to defend Donald Trump's horrific post that he's making. Play this clip.
Messages. We are here to talk about the case and litigate cases. We can't address what he posts or what he wants to post or did post.
But as his attorneys, have you told him to stop posting this rhetoric, these messages about the judge?
So what I said before was we can't, literally, we can't tell you what we've discussed with our
client.
I
understand,
so
but are you concerned that he's continuing to go after the judge, talking about the judge's wife, talking about the family? I don't think
the judge was concerned about it.
Yeah, but any other defendant, wouldn't you be like...
Any other defendant wouldn't be here today.
He's not going after the judge. He is not going after the judge. He commented that he thought that there were some issues that may cause a conflict. That's not going after the judge. He is not threatening the judge. He is not going after the judge.
He's going after the DA.
He has said that the DA, he is angry because the DA has brought a case that is unjustified. And so I'm not going to comment on it. You may disagree with the way he spoke,
but
he
is angry. Can you talk about the process? Was he fingerprinted? Was there a mugshot?
I'm not going to talk about it.
Was there a mugshot?
In fact, I think that thank you for your attention.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp. 8 month. That's.
I don't love that they started doing the commercials in the middle. Oh, come on, y'all.
And then here's another clip of Tacopina where Tacopina, again, more gaslighting, saying, oh, Donald Trump wasn't even swinging a baseball bat.
We've heard this by this point. All right, I was hoping he went into the kids a little bit more. Not entirely sure how to handle this one. There will be a plan, but it's got to be reality based. And I'll be real with you, it's very likely just to come down to making sure we have the people in power in 2024 who can do something about this, and until we have that, how to endure until then, how to look out for this judge and their family. And I gotta say, you know what? Let's go out for a second. And I gotta say, we don't know that the judge isn't going to respond today. That's possible. In fact, I hope that is what happens. But it should tell us a lot how much the worst amongst us, the absolute worst human beings in America, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Donald Trump Jr., and his whole damn family. I've withdrawn. Mary Trump's all right. What the hell? The one he hates as well, maybe. Tiffany? Yeah. But it should tell us a lot how much they're scrambling to hate on this judge and try to scare this judge and make this judge a target. I don't honestly think that their goal is to scare this judge. I mean, they are Sure, they're trying to do their normal scumbag stuff, but I don't think their goal is to sway the judge. I think their goal is to sway their supporters, the people who are fanatically behind them. They are trying to make their supporters an enemy of the judge and of anybody who would support the judge in any way. And that's the part of it that gives me pause when talking about what we should do. Because if what we come up with is the best plan to, say, defeat the supporters of Donald Trump, the people who are actually the target of this campaign that's going on, okay, we may be successful. But we've been doing that. And that's been the main strategy over and over. And you know what? If it ends up being all we can do, it's an acceptable way to go. But I suspect we are missing an easier, more effective strategy, which is showing these people for what they are when they do this stuff. A thought occurred to me, and we should be taking advantage of it. Why were there less protesters this time around, post January 6th? Why is Trump's rhetoric not working as well? Look, part of it, sure, it's just the stakes. January 6th, there was more time to build up. Yeah, but Trump always says they got to get through me to get to you. What were they saying this time? If they can come after me, they can come after you. Well, think about how that sounds if you are dyed-in-the-wool MAGA. Think about how that sounds. Guess what? They already went through MAGA to get to Trump, not the other way around. There's people hearing Trump's message. If they can come after me, they can come after you. And they're looking at the people in prison for Trump for the last time he asked people to come out. And they're thinking, well, what? They can come after us. They did come after us. By the way, you didn't pardon these people. You're going to be so GD corrupt. Why couldn't you pardon these people? Is it every one of them? No, of course not. But their support erodes grains at a time. That's a lot of grains. So now they're trying to make the judge look like the bad guy because I think they're being realistic about, in their own way, about their odds in this trial. They want to politicize it, and they want to make the judge one of MAGA's many enemies. Okay. We'll get back to this topic after we look at how the judge reacts to this, after we look at how lawmakers, maybe even the DOJ, reacts to this. But I think the solution on our end is going to be to judo this motherfucker and use it as an opportunity to show what MAGA is really all about to MAGA. We'll get into it. But that is what's going on in America today. There's a ton more as well. We're going to have such a fun day, man. I hope I'll see y'all at 8 o'clock because we've got great news in Chicago. We've got a fascinating indictment to read. Let's read some comments, speaking of. Dawned on Me says, these people are horrible people. Cruelty is the point. It surely is. Yes, indeed. Mars Falcon, I want to know where the manly man, alpha male, right-wingers, I want to know where are going to handle the Trumpettes threatening a girl. Truly. And by the way, that is the kind of criticism we should be offering. Like, when you have a certain set of moralities. You tend to try to appeal to those moralities no matter who you're talking to. But what you've just pointed out there is very much the right way to go about it. Not that you have to think, a girl should be treated differently than this or that. But you know that they who do the stereotypical man's man, I've got that door for you, honey. By the way, you should hold the door for everybody. But I've got that door for you, honey. Go on in, slap on the rump. That person should feel shame by their own morality for how these people are acting. Shame them with that. And you say, if only they could feel shame. True. Instill that in them. First install the software update, then run the program. Foxy Dragon, who is just full of surprises, says 18 U.S. Code 373, solicitation to commit a crime of violence. Interesting. Makes it a felony to whoever, with intent that another person engage in, engage in conduct constituting a felony that has an element, the use, the attempted use, or threatened use of physical force against property or against the person of another in violation of the laws of the United States. Interesting. There's a thin line between soliciting violence in retaliation and speaking about questionable behavior of a judge or prosecutor. Interesting. All right. That's food for thought. Mars Falcon, a case that has never been charged before. Does he mean nobody has ever been charged with falsifying records, or does he mean if he can only be charged with things he's been charged with before? I don't know. This man, it makes no damn sense. Wicked Foxy Dragon says solicitation can be enforced even if it doesn't produce a violent act, just the act of trying to get someone to do it. Incitement is enforceable only if the act of violence happens. Interesting. Okay. Maybe there is slightly more direct things we can do. Well, we're gonna tear into it. Certainly in a future segment, in the near future segment, in a near future segment. And in the show later today, we're going to be talking about developments in Chicago. We're going to be talking about the implications of Wisconsin and how we can take advantage of this this massive win. I mean, it changes strategy throughout the country, truly. Hell of a job, Wisconsin. You should feel proud. We're going to be talking about the, per Foxy's suggestion, the developments from yesterday and the statement of facts relating to the hush money payments. We saw Matt Bender last night went through it as well in a just a delightful stream. And a couple of other news items from around the country that just happened and are ripe for plucking with the opportunities. But until then, this has been WYCD Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do. My name's Jake.